Folks, it's Fernando doing our video for more survivalists, and I quickly like to address some of the news that made headlines these past few weeks. Talking about the killing of Cecil the lion, about Planned Parenthood, and finally the most recent one, the political GOP debate, specifically Donald Trump. Regarding the lion thing, I remember when I first read it, it was being said that it was a Spanish hunter. Thought, yeah, it could be because hunting is a big thing in Spain. But then when they said it was a bow hunting, I thought, hey, that sounds much more like an American type of thing, because it's not really a big thing in Spain. Bow hunting is more of a firearms type of hunting. And in fact, just a few hours later was said that it was this Walter Palmer guy, this dentist. My opinion regarding hunting in general. So I think it's wrong. I have done it myself before, not by any means. I'm no hunter. I think that if you're going to be killing an animal, you should at least have a good reason for it. Let's say you're going to be killing an animal because you're going to be eating it. I think that's perfectly fine. I don't find anything morally wrong with that. I think that if I go to a supermarket, buy a chunk of meat that was killed by someone else, I just pay a few bucks, take it home and eat it. From a moral perspective, I think you would even have more of a high ground if you take responsibility yourself. You go yourself and kill that animal, dress it, eat it, than just going and buying it. It's not something I'm going to be doing frequently anytime soon, but I at least would see it from that perspective. Okay, even for population control, if there's just too many of the animals and someone has to limit that population, you have to kill a few of them so as to improve the chances of the entire species or the entire group in a specific area. That's okay as well. Even for pest control, if there are just too many of the things and it's getting out of hand, and you just have to control a plague or a pest, just as well. Now, just killing because you enjoy killing an animal, I at least don't see it. And yet again, I have done it before. I mean, a 14-year-old with an air gun, you're gonna be shooting stuff. I have killed, numerous times animals that I shouldn't have. But the thing is, I got to a point where I realized, what am I doing? Just killing this bird, this whatever, for no good reason. That's not okay. And you stop doing it. But it seems that some people do not get to that point of realizing what they're doing, and they just carry it on in their lives. And just killing an animal simply so as to stuff it, I at least enjoy more seeing the thing just walk by and seeing it alive, rather than just killing it and hanging its head on my wall. Now, what really got to me was not just, well, it was sad enough that the animal got killed. And this guy, this Walter Palmer, is a complete scumbag. Don't get me wrong. He is, and he deserves all the crap that he got. Not only because he killed the animal for trophy, which I at least personally don't agree with, but beyond that, what he did was completely illegal. And that's a big point. He did something that he shouldn't have done because it was outside. It was illegal to do so. Not only did he do it in this case with a lion, he had already done it in the United States with a bear, and he had paid his way out of it. He was caught lying about how the circumstances in which he had killed the bear in the United States, paid his way out of it. He had done the same even with a case of sexual harassment that he had from an ex-employee of his. He reached an agreement with the victim outside the courts. So clearly a guy that's used to paying his way out of the trouble he gets himself into. Now, the outrage that we saw from society was huge because of a dead lion. I mean, people wanted to skin this guy alive. I'm not a fan of this person by any means, but it's very disappointing to see that a dead lion gets more reaction from people than a dead person. Because we've had so many cases in which people were completely massacred, innocent civilians. We've had schools being bombed and not having people react in the same way as with a dead lion. That I at least find it to be extremely disappointing. This takes me to the second thing that I want to talk about, which was Planned Parenthood. If you were even slightly in favor of abortion as a pro-choice thing, I don't think you get a choice on killing babies or not. I think it's wrong either way. Unless there's really something that you have to decide if both child and mother die, if it's something that it gets to that point, I at least don't see it that you have a reason for it. If it's something that either it's medically necessary and there's really no other choice, then yes. But just doing it because as something that became common practice. And here's where it got really grim and really dark, and we saw the true face of this abortion lobby, which is harvesting humans, because that's exactly what it is. If you haven't seen the footage of the hidden camera, you really should. I mean, you have the Planned Parenthood people admitting that they organize their abortions. They reduce the price of the abortions depending on the demand that they're getting from the labs, from the pharmaceutical companies. And they get abortions done in specific ways so as to get complete legs from the baby, or get a complete arm, or get the complete head, or even get the complete baby as it's being aborted, which is even illegal, but they still do it. And they admit to doing just that. The thing is, they use these tissues for a number of things. They make a chunk of money out of harvesting human beings. How disgusting is this? It's frankly awful, and it really should. If there's any, it should make you sick. If it doesn't, then there's really something that needs to be addressed, because it is disgusting to have babies being killed and an entire political machine behind it, a financial machine behind it, profiting on harvesting human beings, the weakest, most vulnerable, the least capable of defending themselves persons being harvested like that. And this really reminds me, of when we talked about circumcision. Because you could say that you're on either side of the abortion debate. I think it's just killing people and it's wrong, but I understand there's people on either side. The thing with circumcision, there's really no other way to explain it but just pure ignorance, or being a little bit less politically correct, stupidity. You have parents. There's nothing as important for a parent as his own son. That's the most precious thing that you have in life. Now, yet, half the parents in the United States, parents of male babies, they will have those babies circumcised. And circumcision is really nothing else other than male genital mutilation. They're cutting a piece of a completely healthy baby. There's really no reason for that. Now, I understand that again, just like with the Planned Parenthood lobby, there is a circumcision lobby, and you will have doctors lying through their teeth. I mean, I've seen some, and you can see it in YouTube. You have doctors just with a straight face saying that babies do not feel pain, that this mutilation is medically sound because it has benefits. It has the same benefit as cutting your left arm and avoiding breaking your arm or having a left arm infection. It's pretty much the same thing, just that in your penis, which is, it's awful. Only a guy knows how terrible that it could be. It's even, it's unconstitutional. In the United States, you should have the same rights for women and for men. Now, female genital mutilation is completely illegal, and if you practice it, you could even end up in jail. But if you do it to a male, you have male genital mutilation is not illegal and is commonly practiced, and you have even doctors saying that it's actually recommended. It's insane. And finally, in this topic of disappointment with people, you have the GOP. You have this political debate that we all got to see in Fox News. And I at least have been following it for quite some time. The presidential debates, I've liked watching them, but I see them going downhill like this. It's getting worse. It's more stupid each time. The caliber of the debate, it just, it used to be more of an intellectual political stance thing, and there were some concepts being debated. In this last one, it was, a level, very poor level of discussion, and Donald Trump was like a cartoon. I mean, it was ridiculous. What did he not do? He admitted to being, hating women, insulting women with this Megyn Kelly thing about telling her that she was bleeding through her eyes, through bleeding everywhere, implying that she was having her period. At one point he said, what am I doing here? I'm not getting paid for this. He was complaining that he was not getting paid for the political debate. I mean, no, you're not getting paid. You're running for president. You should be asked questions that are uncomfortable, and you should be still finding ways to answer them. If not, just don't run for president. Why should you be getting paid to answer questions when it's basically in your best interest, and it's basically what you want to be doing yourself? You want to be running for president, or is someone maybe paying you for that? But the worst part, the epitome of complete stupidity was that Donald Trump downright admitting to being a corrupt person. He said that he paid to Democratic candidates so as to gain business favors. Basically, paying bribes so as to get financial favors. Yet people apparently do not realize when someone is saying, yes, I am corrupt, I am paying bribes, I am a Republican paying Democrats because it benefits me, and that apparently goes right through people, and they don't recognize that something is so wrong with that. Folks, just a few things that are quite disappointing, and probably indications of things to come. Folks, remember to subscribe, thumbs up if you liked, share. Take care. See you on our next video.